The Jets, it's funny. I hired this guy, John Berger, to help with game management, who's like this random 60-year-old dude who I think was with the Giants for a while. And I don't know what he does all week, where Aaron Glenn just sounds so lost when he's talking about these game situations. Going back, the Jets had Dick Curl for Herm Edwards, which I did feel like helped for a time being. And uh, it's a hard thing. Even the really good coaches like McVay and Kyle Shanahan screw this up at times, right? Like, it's not an easy thing to do when you're in the heat of the moment, calling plays, trying to manage personnel. No one's saying it's easy. There are certain easy things that you need to map out in advance, or you need to have an identity. And what I hope for Glenn, and why I won't fully write him off yet, is that at the bye week, my hope is he does the rounds, talks to a lot of people, and they do sort of an internal audit. And he says, who could get in my ear on game day, or who could make a sheet for me that gives me an easy call? Like, he almost would with a 2-point conversion sheet on when are we punting for this specific matchup? When are we kicking a field goal? What's Nick Folk's red line for this game where we assign him to kick? Because what I would have liked to see is, before the game, Aaron Glenn should walk over to Nick Folk and say, what's your range today? And Nick Folk should say, I feel good from 58 or in. I made a 58-yarder. So if we get to the 41, you should kick it. I feel good that I can make it. Okay, he should remember that information. He gets into the situation that we're in. He knows he has to get 6 more yards to try a field goal with Nick Folk. He talks to Angstrom and says, look, like, we got first down. Call me 3 run plays that will get me 6 yards. I'm kicking it with Nick with no time left, and we're going to win. That's the level of communication you want to have. And then even before the half, where, the way Glenn described it, it just seemed like he didn't realize like how little time was left. And then like he went for it on the weird fake punt that everyone in the building saw, where the starting running backs were on the field, but didn't have consistency. So he's got to know going into that drive that, all right, we're playing for 3 here. If we get this first down, if we get to 4th down, we're going to let it run to 5 seconds and throw a Hail Mary because we're just worried about Denver getting the ball back. I don't like playing that way, but at least you have a theory and you're closing with a Hail Mary in an attempt because anything could happen. Or just be more aggressive and say, look, we got to get to the 41-yard line again, and we're going to try a 58-yard field goal, just like we did against Miami, and we got 3 points before the half. So it just needs to be mapped out in advance. And if Berger's not going to be the guy on game day who's doing that for him, assign one of the assistant coaches to do it. Assign one of the guys from your analytics staff to do it, to like make a sheet for you and practice some of these different situations throughout the week. There's always going to be certain things on the fly that you miss. That happens to everyone. The stuff that happened at the end of the half is like not those situations. You should have had a plan for going into that game and with the feel of that game, how you were handling the end